everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to write a Shakespearean sonnet. Probably the bulk of this video is going to focus on meter because I find that's the thing that most people I talk to about it find most challenging, but we're also going to talk about the basic structure as well as the rhyme scheme. The poem we're going to be using throughout this as an example is called Sonnet 130 by Shakespeare. Let me just read it to you real quick. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied beyond compare. As any she belied with false compare. Yeah, I feel there. Okay, so first off, we're going to start with structure. A sonnet, I'm sure you know, has 14 lines. With a Shakespearean sonnet, which is the sort that's mostly associated with Shakespeare, who wrote a bunch of famous sonnets, we're going to have 12 lines that are broken into 3 quatrains, which is groups of 4 lines, and there's going to be a couplet at the end. I'm going to put a diagram right here to show you exactly what that does. So as you see, it's broken up into 4 different pieces, those 3 quatrains and the couplet. Next we're going to talk about rhyme scheme. The reason I mentioned the quatrains and the couplet is that the rhyme happens within these sections. So the first quatrain is going to have alternating lines that rhyme. A, B, A, B. Sun, red, dun, head. And then the final couplet, those 2 lines are going to rhyme together, which rare, compare. Here for reference, another diagram. And now the meter. This part's fun, but also very hard to get at first. So meter is just rhythm, like rapping or whatever. That's rhythm too. But it's a certain set structured rhythm. There's different names for different ways of doing it. What we're doing here is called iambic pentameter. But basically, meter is composed of feet, which is just the little units. As far as an iamb goes, which is what we're going to be using here, iambic pentameter, an iamb is just an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. What this means is that what stressed means is it's the natural emphasis we put on certain parts of words. For example, you might go out and buy produce at the cash register, but then you'll have to produce your credit card. The difference between vegetables and pulling out your MasterCard is pretty much just the way syllables are stressed. It's the same sounds, but produce. See the way that's different? Yeah. Produce is an iamb. Produce. And when you put a bunch of iambs together, it's just going to make this sort of rocking rhythm that's very easy to fall into. As for the pentameter part, that literally just means you're putting 5 of those in a row. So you're going to have 10 syllables in a line. A perfect line of iambic pentameter, every line is going to have 10 syllables. You're going to begin with an unstressed syllable, rise and fall until you end on a stressed syllable. As for how, or you're not sure if a line fits meter, I find it really helpful to just exaggerate. Say it out loud and exaggerate. For example, from Sonnet 130, we're going to have, I grant I never saw a goddess go. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. It sounds very strange like this, but okay, let's go for an example that doesn't work. Coral is far more red than her lips red. Shakespeare has broken meter here. A lot of poets do it. It's, emphasis, variation. But, for just the basic meter, it's not going to work as iambic pentameter. Coral is far more red than her lips red. That doesn't work. I think when you're first starting out with writing sonnets, though, and writing in iambic pentameter, you should try to stick to meter just, to get down those basics, to understand it, and then you can play with variation, etc., etc. But it's best to just learn how first, I believe. I mean, if you're gonna be trying to use iambic pentameter, and it's a very useful tool to have in your toolbox. So, I believe we've learned everything. We've talked about structure, we've talked about rhyme, we've talked about meter. It's a lot of elements to work with when writing a sonnet, and it's very hard to get it all to work together sometimes, but I promise you it is so satisfying when you finally get it right. Just like any puzzle, all the pieces click into place, and it's just perfect. So yeah, I hope you enjoy writing sonnets. If you, write any or want to show them to me, I would be cool with that. If you have any questions, comments below. That's about it. Thank you. Have a good day.